4:30 and 6:30 p.m. Plymouth's holiday parade is scheduled for Saturday, December 7 at 5 p.m. And following the parade on Main Street, there will be hot chocolate at the Senior Center, and Santa Claus will be there for the children. And the evening will end with fireworks at the amphitheater.
Well, I'm not sure if I wasn't listening, but I didn't hear a time for the burying of the time capsule.
That is at 11 a.m. All Select Board meetings will be held in the Town Hall unless otherwise posted. Weather observations for the month of October are available in the Town Hall. Citizens wishing to be listed on the Select Board's agenda should notify the Town Hall before 12 p.m. on the Friday before the scheduled meeting. And moving on to our regular agenda, under updates and recommendations, we have County Commissioner Martha Richards. Would you like to come up, Martha?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Excuse my back to the audience. And I've heard of you, but I don't think I've formally met you.
Oh,
Dick.
Hi, Dick. It's nice to meet you. Thank you all for having me. Well, as I say, it was kind of a tough day. Everybody was in tears up there as we came to our meeting. And for the public's sake, this is I'm talking about the death of Ray Burton this morning. It happened around 2 a.m. and Mike Cryans called me around 5:30, and he has been a wonderful friend to Ray through the past month. They were very close, and it was very hard on Mike. And you know, even though we all expected it, such finality to it, and he did suffer, I think, and I'm glad it wasn't any longer than it was. But an icon, as we all know, of the North Country, and a champion of North Country issues, and irreplaceable. They just don't do it like that anymore.
Oh, that's right.
So we think the process for replacing him as commissioner will be that the county delegation will choose. Now, whether they send out letters to people saying, express your interest in becoming a county commissioner, we don't know, as it's not stated in the statute. And apparently for executive council, there will be an actual election. And we're guessing all this will happen in the new year. And there will be a memorial service at Plymouth State, and no date has been set for that. And Sarah Jane has agreed to that. And we're assuming with the Bath Church being so small that that could be a very private family affair. Again, we've not heard anything about that. So we'll be the first ones to hear, and of course it was all over the news today. So I wanted to bring you up to date on the county. I have 17 towns in my district, and I like to keep everybody informed of what's going on. And a lot of people don't know county government and how we're actually organized, so we made this handy little chart here. And I know that you can't see that online, but people can certainly feel free to call me and contact me, and I can either send them this, and we welcome people to come up and visit the county. So we have the 3 elected commissioners, and the other elected people are our attorney, Lara Sappho, our sheriff, Doug Dutile, Register of Deeds, Kelly Monahan, and the treasurer is Bonnie Parker, and also our county delegation of 27 members. And then we appoint Julie Clough, who's been there at the helm for 12 years, and she is an outstanding executive director for our county. We feel very fortunate with her running this. In fact, I think she got an award of 40 under 40 or something like that a few years ago. So I'll go department by department, which we oversee. And as you may know, with the budget process, the commissioners massage it for months and months, and then we turn it over to the delegation. So they are the ones who have the actual final vote on it. And you've probably gotten your notice of your taxes this year. The DRA's doing that too, so
We're still waiting.
the process. Well, I have some information here for you, but okay, our human resources, we have a new woman in charge of that, Donna Kramer, and we have over 400 employees at the county, and at least half of them work in the nursing home. So it's quite a dedicated group up there. And our nursing home is run by a new young man, Craig Labor, who had an internship for a year with a former director. So he had come over from the Clough Center in New London, where he went after he finished his internship, and is now back. So he certainly was familiar with what he was getting into. And we have 135 beds at the nursing home, and most of the time our census is between 130 and 135 with Medicaid, Medicare, and private pay. And there is an Alzheimer's wing up there and a waiting list. And being a former nurse, it's interesting to walk through there and kind of assess things. But I am very proud of this nursing home. We had 2 small deficiencies this year, which were readily cleared up. And in the past, we've had awards for the nursing home. There's a big activities program for people. And I think the dedication and the compassion that I see from the staff is admirable. It's tough work up there for them. And again, that's where at least half of our employees do work in the nursing home. So being a 24/7, it comes with all those attendant problems, just like the Department of Corrections is 24/7. And again, tours are open at any time to have people come up and see this. Our farm is the last remaining county farm out of the 10 counties in New Hampshire, and we have a dairy herd. In fact, we just got a report today from Donnie Kimball, who's been there about 23 years. We're milking 73 cows. Milk is selling at about $20.03 per 100 weight, and we ship around 9,700 gallons, or is it, I think it's pounds, excuse me, per week. And we do not consume any of the milk that we milk on the campus because we don't have pasteurization. But if you eat Cabot cheese, you are getting some Grafton County milk in that, so that's our claim to fame. And we have pigs, and they are huge pigs, and we sell piglets for about $75 each, and they're very popular. And in fact, the Department of Corrections just had 2 pigs slaughtered so that the inmates get the fresh pork and serve it right there and save some money. And they also are slaughtering a cow for the Department of Corrections, but we can't do that in the nursing home. And our farm stand did very well this summer, over $55,000 in produce. The inmates run the vegetable stand, and never has there been a returned inmate who has had that position. You know, it's a great job to increase their self-esteem, and we've had wonderful results with them, and they work out in the fields. They also do the milking at 3 a.m. and many other chores. We had pumpkin day with a local school coming to get pumpkins, and the inmates helped down in that. They also go out on work details, and I'm sure you've had them here in Plymouth for things, but they go all over the county. We also donated 55 tons of potatoes around the county this year, and even up into Coos, and also squashes. And the inmates helped deliver those. So for them, many of them, it's probably the first time they've had some kind of community duty. So we try to keep them busy. And when I talked to other commissioners in other counties, we just had our association meeting. I asked, well, what do your inmates do? Well, they stay inside to think up things that are naughty. So this farm work, I think, has a lot of intangible benefits also. But we have beautiful buildings dating from the late 1800s when the farm was built, mainly to help the poor who could work off their debts or raise their own food. But beautiful buildings up there. So I would urge you sometime to take a tour up there. We also have chickens, so we consume their eggs, and we sell the eggs also at the farm stand. We have a great maintenance department. There's a lot to take care of up there on the campus, and we're very proud of that. And that was one of Ray's big things, too, of how beautiful the campus was kept looking. We have a great superintendent up there of maintenance with a good team, and they all have special skills so that we don't have to bring in too many outside contracted people. But he helped with the new jail and helped with the biomass plant and the maintenance building, the demolition of the old jail. So he's very persnickety, and so we're very lucky with him. Human Services, that's gotten to be a smaller department, but that's we're very proud of where we send out our grants and monies to social service agencies. Youth at Risk, we have Voices Against Violence. The Grafton County Senior Citizens Council, we donate to that. Programs for women and youth at risk. So we're probably around $400,000 a year in our budget of donating to these various groups, either to keep kids out of jail, keep the elderly in their homes rather than going to nursing homes, and just other very worthwhile programs that we're proud to fund. And that was another one of Ray's important things, was giving out to others. So I feel your tax money has been put to good use. Some people are mixed about this, but we feel strongly about this part of our program. And we have a big IT department also. To the Department of Corrections, which, as you may know, our new jail came online about last year, June, and it can hold 150 inmates, and our census is usually around 120 to 130. We're now taking women from Belknap and Coos counties. They pay $40 a day, and their counties are responsible totally for their medical care. And that gets very expensive because a lot of these people are on very special medications, and by law you have to keep them with a medical program. And Glenn Libby, who you probably know of Glenn, outstanding superintendent, he has announced his retirement December of 2014. So there will be somebody who will be very hard to replace. I have great admiration for Glenn. He treats the inmates with respect and expects it in return, and I think he does a great job with his correctional officers who follow him to a T. And the facility is wonderful, and again, I'd urge you to take a tour to see that. You know, we got 100 years out of the old facility, and I think we'll surely get that with this. And the infrastructure, when it was built, can accommodate up to about 300 inmates. So if and when that time comes, we at least have a kitchen that can accommodate them, a laundry room and storage and whatnot, because that's the expensive part to replicate. As you may know, it is heated and cooled by a geothermal system. It's had a lot of bugs to work out during this whole shakedown cruise, and it's been quite a bug at times. But I think we're getting there. Fortunately, everything is under warranty. We've got Jim Oakes working on it. And one thing I'm particularly proud of is I started looking into alternative energy for the campus. When I was first elected in 2006, our oil bill was $600,000 a year. So you think yours were high. And I thought, this can't continue. And Ray said, too, let's get off foreign oil. So then when I had a hiatus of a couple of years, I asked the commissioners if I could continue with my volunteer citizen committee looking into alternative energy. So they were fine about that. So to make a long story short, we started over a year ago building the wood chip biomass plant, and we had the ribbon cutting in June, and it's now online for this winter. So of course today, a cold day, I saw the smoke coming out of there, and I do have a picture of it on this chart. And we've gone from about 90,000 gallons of oil down to 9,000 with this. We're probably already going to save over $200,000 this year alone. We have Bob Birdie, who runs North Country Procurement, being our go-between for the wood chips, and that has worked out very well. And our contract is for $57 a ton for wood chips. We get a couple deliveries a week, so I know people were concerned about trucks coming and going with great frequency, but it's not. And we've had a few bugs to work out with that, so the pressure going into all the other buildings was a little higher. But the man who works for the company that the Messerschmitt actual biomass chip boiler lives right in Orford, so we get quick attention from him. But it's a beautiful looking building, does not require any extra personnel, it's all automated, it's amazing. And then there's just a little ash to shovel out, and they'll accumulate that and then spread it on our fields. And in fact, tomorrow I'm going up to Bethlehem to be part of a group to speak about the wood chip plants up in the North Country, and let's get some more online. And they assure us there's plenty of wood, so it keeps these lumber folks, as I'm sure Neil can attest to, also busy and employed. And they know they've got permanent employment, so if they need to get a truck and get a loan, they know they're going to have a job for a long time. So to me, this has been a win-win for the county. We're supplying hot water to the jail, so even though they've got a geothermal plant, we're doing that for them. So yeah, I'm very proud of what we got accomplished up there. In terms of the taxes, lucky me in Holderness, we're the 4th highest in the county. Let me see. Your taxes to the county went up 2.19%. Last year, you paid $645,641. This year, $659,771. It was an increase of $14,000, 130. And in terms of where you fit on this list, I had that. So you haven't gotten these sheets yet. Yeah, Holderness is the fourth, so Hanover's the highest, then Lebanon, Lincoln, and Holderness. Okay, Plymouth, what you're right up there, guys. You're about seventh or eighth in the county.
And what is that, what's that a measure of?
Your, this is largest to smallest
County tax rate.
county tax rate.
Okay.
And our tax rate went up only 1.6%. And this is still paying off the bond to the nursing home and, of course, the jail. With the wood chip plant, I meant to mention, we were authorized to borrow $38 million from the delegation for the new jail. Because of the timing of the construction and great bidding, we came in at around $31 million. So we had gotten a grant from the DOE, and then we used some of this leftover money that we were authorized to use on the wood chip plant. So we did not need to raise any new funds. So we're very pleased with that whole process too. We have brochures, and I have a few cards, but I know you all know how to reach me. And this is our old brochure. This might be historical with Ray's picture on it when he looked pretty fit and whatnot. But we've had these brochures for a while, and this is something you might want to put downstairs in your office for people to take that talks about it, and all kinds of phone numbers and whatnot for people to locate offices. And I can certainly get you more of those. I've probably visited now about 6 towns in my district, and a few of them have questions, and I don't have all the answers. And if I don't, I'm happy to get them and bring them back to you. But do you have any questions for me? Be very happy to answer anything.
I don't have any question for you, Martha. I can't think of it right now.
I was so thorough. Well, very, Neil.
I just have a question about the wood chip heat. Does it just go to the nursing home?
Oh, I'm sorry. This was very interesting, watching this whole thing being built, because they piped out to all the other buildings, over to the Department of Corrections, to the nursing home, to the administration building, and the courthouse. So that was quite a long piping distance. So that's where we've had a bit of an issue, is that steam being pushed through and then coming into the new building, and pressure issues. But they've worked on that. And it's fortunate it's going to the courthouse, because I think that was built in the late 70s, and the boilers are upstairs and about 30 years old. So this will supplement a lot of that heating, and maybe we can keep those boilers going a little longer.
It's a hard building to heat, too.
It's weird the way it was constructed.
Yeah.
You go in those courtrooms, well, you've been there, it looks like a ship from Mars is coming down any
Lots of
minute.
glass.
Yes.
It's always cold in the
Yeah.
building.
So we have absolutely no more building projects to do. But I would anticipate eventually they're going to have to retrofit that courthouse, and probably the windows will be one of that, but it's not even on the drawing boards at this time. Oh, back to the demolition of the jail. That was a bit controversial this year. A lot of preservationists, I wouldn't say a lot, many preservationists wanted to keep it because there was a portion from the late 1800s. But I think when you saw the outside of the jail, to me, and I'm not an architect, but it didn't look like anything overly special. And then the section from the late 80s, some people felt, well, why can't we save that part and rehab it? But it really was going to become a money pit to retrofit this place. So it was much better for it to come down. We carried it through last winter to the cost of about $56,000. And even with the heat and the water in there, things burst and made a terrible mess, which of course they cleaned up. So seeing what Merrimack County has done, their old jail is still there. It's been there for 10 years, empty and not in use. And this was going to become a money pit for us, and none of us wanted Grafton County taxpayers to pay that. Some people thought, well, this could become a homeless shelter, a restaurant, a movie theater, a chicken house, storage. But you know what the traffic is like up there. There just isn't the population for this. And we did even approach Alex Ray, and he wasn't interested. So, if Alex didn't want an old building, nobody would want it. So we three commissioners, and this was something else that Ray really championed, getting rid of this old jail. And it was demolished this summer and finished in early August. And you look at the former site, it's hard to believe a big jail was there, but it's grassed over, and there's kind of like a half-moon raised area that we took one of the old granite blocks from the foundation and erected that. And we have a big bronze plaque, of all the former superintendents back from the 1898 and on up. Because being local, somebody will say, oh, that was my great-grandfather, or that was my uncle, or something. And then it was Mike Cryan's idea to name this little area the Ray Burton Park. And so that we have that plaque above the superintendent's plaque. And Ray was able to make that ceremony. It was only about 3 weeks ago today, and he was able to walk up to it, and I held on to him while we had it. And he was so very emotional, very appreciative, and he loved his county family and thanked everybody. And there was a wonderful turnout of staff that day for this. So that's how I remember Ray, able to walk on his own with his little jaunty beret.
And a comb for everybody.
Yeah, I just got a pot holder today. No issue was too hot in the kitchen or something like that. Was on his, and Burton for certain. So that's how I remember Ray, but it was a lovely tribute to have this little park named for Ray, and we're going to plant some birch trees there next spring and a couple of granite benches, and people can just use it to look out on this gorgeous view of the Connecticut River and our lovely fields. And we have 2 osprey nests way down in the fields, and the Science Center folks came this late summer and put those nests that you can do, and they feel pretty hopeful that we might get a couple of ospreys. And that was another project that the inmates helped assemble. They came out in the field, and they had a big bucket loader with all the sticks and whatnot. So I'm very proud of what our county is accomplishing, and we just put on the county association meeting up in Whitefield and got a lot of kudos for that. But it's a beautiful looking county. I think it's well managed. We take good care of our people, and you can tell I'm very enthusiastic about my work. I work with wonderful people and great camaraderie, and there's no partisanship in this job, and we hope it will continue that way when we get the 3rd commissioner, because it makes a difference. Just we make decisions based on what we feel is best for the county.
That's great.
So,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I hope you've all learned
Thank
some
you.
nuggets about the county.
Yeah,
and
that was very interesting.
Thank you
Thanks
very much
coming
for
in.
all that.
very welcome. Thank you for having
All
me.
that you
You are
do.
doing a lot of excellent projects.
Yeah.
Having the last county farm in the state is something to be proud of. So.
Well, it is, and some look to us for some ideas of what they can do. COAS is thinking of selling theirs, and once they sell it, it's gone. I hope they think very carefully about this.
$20 a pound for milk is pretty good.
It's wonderful. We're very lucky, because it isn't always that way. And we've got kind of an old-fashioned milking parlor in there, but I love the smells and the warm cows. We got a couple Jersey cows up there that add to the butter fat, so they're real happy about what we sell them. So thank you all again.
Thank you.
And I hope you have a wonderful holiday season, and we have a quiet, serene year ahead of us in all ways.
Take care.
Good
Well,
night.
did you have questions? I'm sorry. Did you learn some things about the county you didn't know, I hope?
All right, next on our agenda, we have the fire department with our new hire. Tommy, come up.
Good evening,
Good evening,
board members and Kate. I'd like you to meet Jason Nichols.
Jason.
Jason.
Have a seat.
As you know, we started a hiring process in September of this year to replace Captain Jack Olmsted's position. And we had about 26 applications, all highly qualified. We interviewed 13, and Jason came out on top of that. And Mike, thank you for your assistance in the oral interviews.
Yeah, Jason and I have met actually for a
Yes.
couple of minutes.
Okay. So Jason's a paramedic, certified firefighter medic. He's got a number of years of experience in fire and EMS, and we think he's going to be a good fit for Plymouth. We're proud to have him and would seek your approval to put him on full-time.
Excellent. Well, we've had a chance to take a look at Jason's resume, and it's definitely impressive. And I think that with the emphasis on the EMS side of the fire department's mission, I think this is, as you say, a good fit. So,
Yeah, I think as I said earlier, the medic, we'll have a medic on every shift now, which is awesome.
that's great.
That's, the standard of care really today, so it's great that we're able to achieve that,
Yeah.
and that we were able to attract somebody of that caliber.
Excellent.
We're happy, we're pleased.
And with that, I would ask if we have a motion to approve the hiring of
I'd
Jason.
like to make the motion to approve the hiring of Jason.
I'll second it.
All right, it's been moved by Mike and seconded by Neil. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nobody's even opposed?
Nobody opposed. Well, that usually goes with this board. And do we have the
Personnel action form. Yep. Back with us, or does it stay?
Well, Jason, I hope you enjoy this lovely town.
From what I've seen, the chief gave me a driving tour of the city, as much as he could in the hour and a half interview we did. It's lovely. It kind of reminds me of home back in the Midwest. And,
Oh, really? Where are you from originally?
I'm from a small town called Lowell in Indiana. It's about an hour and a half south-ish of Chicago.
Okay.
Kind of in that northwest corner there of Indiana where you get the Chicago TV stations, but Indiana taxes, so it's kind of...
That's good.
So Indiana's like Plymouth?
Oh, the small town I was in.
This isn't Gary.
Oh, no, I've worked there. Absolutely not.
Welcome.
Yes.
Thank you very much, guys.
Fun to see you around.
I'm looking forward to working for the town and serving it and doing my job and, eventually calling the town home.
That's great.
Great.
And I understand you're starting next week, and you're going to kind of spend a day with each of the shifts, so you'll get to know everybody and what they do and who everybody is. So that's great.
And my first shift day, if everything goes according to plan, is Thanksgiving.
Oh,
It just so happens.
Just so.
We didn't plan it that way, honest.
Nah, it's okay.
all right. All right, well, thank
Thank
you
you.
both very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Okay. Under Chairman's comments, as Martha Richards said, we did lose Councilor Ray Burton today. I think for a lot of us, one of our last memories of Ray here in Plymouth was seeing him riding down Main Street in his yellow convertible during our 250th parade. And he had the smile that he always had on his face. Councilor Burton will truly be missed by the people whose lives he touched, here in Plymouth and throughout District 1 in the state. So, thank you, Ray.
I'd like to add something, if it's okay.
Yeah.
When I was a college student, Ray came back to school to speak to us about public service. And I became very interested in public service. And I served on the Grafton County Committee, Republican Committee with him. And in 1976, I was elected to the state legislature. And that was the same year that Ray was elected to his first term as governor's counsel. And he immediately started working with me in every way possible to try to help Plymouth. And I really appreciated all the things he did for us.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. All right, moving on to bid announcements. Peter, with the approved bid for winter service and plowing at Boulder Point.
This was the year that we put an invitation to bid back in the paper because the other one had expired. We had 3 contractors who submitted bids. D.A. White, Aaron Piper, and 3 Lakes Landscaping, which is Colby Lenentine. The results of, we'll start with the Boulder Point. Boulder Point, D.A. White. What we wanted for Boulder Point was we wanted a...
Peter, do you have another one of these?
We do not.
Oh, okay. It's
Oh,
okay.
I have these here. One second. When we advertised in the paper, what we wanted for Boulder Point was a 1-ton size vehicle. And we had 3 responses. D.A. White only offered a 3/4 ton size pickup at $60 an hour with a 2-hour minimum call out, but we supplied the sand and the
Main
salt.
Street, this isn't Boulder Point.
Oh.
This is Main Street. Okay.
So Dana White did not meet the requested equipment. Aaron Piper offered a 1-ton truck at $60 an hour with a 3-hour minimum charge. Sand and salt will be billed at $150 per application. 3 Lakes Landscaping, which is Colby Lenentine, offered a 1-ton truck at $60 per hour, no minimum call out, and they will provide the sand and the salt. I would recommend that we hire 3 Lakes Landscaping for this winter term from December 1, 2013 to May 1, 2014. And that is exclusive to Boulder Point.
Can I just a couple of questions on Boulder Point. Approximately last year, what were the total expenditures for that?
I didn't bring
Maintenance.
that.
We had a similar arrangement because I remember going through a discussion that was very similar about minimum 3-hour requirements by the person we didn't choose, and
Last year, it was last 2 years was awarded to D.A. White.
yeah.
So Dana had been doing that. But he retracted his 1-ton and only offered us a 3/4 ton and wanted us to supply sand and salt.
Just maybe a follow-up, just for my own edification or anyone else, the reason why the town itself doesn't do it is just because of
Manpower.
manpower, just
Manpower and timing.
time and distance kind of thing.
Eventually, I think we may be able to do it, perhaps if we hire on somebody else,
Yeah.
maybe winter part-time.
Yeah.
I'll have to do the cost compared to what we're paying out to hire versus what we would pay for part-time season.
What's, oh, sorry, were the specifications for 1 ton, that was like, you know, an adamant specification? You insisted that,
I insisted, I didn't really insist, but it's in the best interest of us to have a 1-ton because you have dual wheels in the back for traction, weight, and it just does a better job.
Yeah, and that
Okay.
hill going up Boulder Point, you want, it's not
You have to
like it's
push
just a
snowbanks.
flat.
yeah.
And push
Flat
snowbanks also.
They're just plowing the road, right?
Exactly.
They don't plow any of the parking.
No, just the roadway up to the end, turn around and come back down.
But it's a pretty, you gotta be right on it.
Exactly. It's a busy road. It serves that, not only does it serve Walmart, it serves that both medical complexes is Mid-State and plus the other one,
Spear.
Spear.
And Tractor Supply's up there.
Now this Tractor Supply. So I would recommend hiring Colby Lenentine, 3 Lakes. He did provide us with a list of his contracts within the town, references, and I'll leave these documents, these original documents inside there, if you care to review them.
I've seen 3 Lakes signs all over town, so.
I don't have any doubts about his capability.
Sure. And he does a really nice job. When we're out 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning, he's out 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning doing the bank parking lots and doing everything that we do. So it's not going to be anything that he's not familiar with, even as well as the timing. Does a nice job.
Good.
So that'll get both,
We'll need to have a vote on that.
I move that we award the contract to Three Lakes Landscaping for doing Boulder Point Road.
I'll second that.
All right, it's been moved by Neil, seconded by Bill. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that is approved.
now we also have snow pickup downtown. When we have abundance of snow, we'll windrow it. We'll have 2 hired-on trucks that'll come in and we'll take a town-owned snow blower and blow it into those 2 trucks. We put it out to bid as we needed 2 trucks. DA White only offered us 1 truck, triaxle, at $75 per hour with a 4-hour minimum call-out. And I want 2 trucks because if I don't have 2 trucks, while 1 truck is loaded and going to dump, there'll be nothing to do. So there needs to be another truck there. So Dana White didn't meet what we were asking for. RM Piper offered us 2 10-wheel trucks, $70 per hour with a 3-hour minimum charge. I would recommend that we hire RM Piper for the pickup of snow in town and the hauling of sand if we need it for this winter term from December 1 to May 1, 2014.
Is the $70 per hour for both trucks or per truck?
Per truck, yes.
I think you've used 2 trucks for the past 20 years, haven't you?
Yeah,
And we have, yes, correct.
it makes sense. I mean, the work can get done in half the time and your guys aren't wasting time.
It takes 3 minutes to load a truck,
Okay.
as long as we have the snow all lined up when we got the snow blower right behind
Where
it.
do you dump the snow now?
Down by the highway department. If that fills up, we'll take it down to Hitchness. And what's really good, and I want to thank the board again, is we bought that new sidewalk tractor and we put that snow blower on it. And we'll go around and do the side streets with our smaller 6-wheelers and blow the snow into it. And we don't have to have it hired on to clean up some of the side streets.
Any other questions?
Sounds good.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve?
I move that we give the contract to RM Piper to haul snow and sand for this winter.
I'll second this one.
All right, moved by Neil, seconded by Mike. All those in favor? Opposed? That is approved. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
Here's the original documents if you'd like to.
Okay, you can give those to Kate.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Rest of the night.
Okay, moving on, we have a letter of resignation from Pat Roach from the Planning Board. Letter dated November 7, Plymouth Planning Board. Dear Sharon and Mike, it is with regret that I have to resign my position on the Planning Board as I am moving out of Plymouth. Tonight's meeting will be my last. I have enjoyed serving with you and the other board members over the last 3 years. I wish the board continued success in guiding Plymouth's growth. Thank you. Sincerely, Patrick J. Roach. So that's unfortunate that we are losing Pat Roach from Plymouth as well as from the Planning Board. But do I have a motion to accept his letter of resignation from the Planning Board?
So moved.
Second.
So moved by Bill and seconded by Mike. All those in favor? Aye. Pat's letter is approved. And having said that, I guess that creates a vacancy on the Planning Board. And as we have in the past, if there's anyone out in our public who's interested in serving on the Planning Board, please contact the Town Hall. An email to the planner would probably be the best way to do it, to express your interest, or a letter. So thank you for that. And moving on, is there any public comment this evening? And I'm sorry, you know what? We missed committee reports. So let me back up to committee reports. And I will start with Neil, who was at the CCC meeting that I was
Okay.
unable to make it to.
November 5th, Jim Hundreiser was the the chair of the meeting, presenting student government reports, and we had reports from student government, town police, university police, emergency services, select board, and the university administration. Some of the information that we received regarded the disturbance after the Red Sox victory and how it was handled. The university police and the Plymouth police had a plan in place which worked very well, and the problems that we had were very minor compared to what other schools had. The university is going to have a float, I guess for the CCC, or combined with the town, in the holiday parade on December 7th. And student government's going to be involved in that. The NEASC is going to do an accreditation visit. It's a 10-year reaccreditation, which is very important for financial aid for the university. And the All Well project is going to start moving. They're planning to start breaking ground in March to build a 110,000 square foot building. It's going to be near where the football field is. And the total project is 300,000 square feet of buildings. They're currently excavating for the parking lot on South River Street for the Business Enterprise Center. And I noticed that there's an excavator at the cogen plant, so they've started working on that project too.
Right, and the next CCC meeting is December the 10th, and that is also the Christmas cookie swap meeting, so.
We're just eating, you don't.
Or eating, right, just come and enjoy some of the cookies that are baked by participants and brought in for the occasion. Dick?
I don't have anything.
Okay.
Nor do I.
Well. So, Ed Cherian from Iberdrola invited the select board to tour the wind farm. And not to throw you on the bus, but Val Scarborough and myself did take advantage of his invitation. And what we did was go up with a series of other people. I'm not even sure who else was invited, but there was quite a few people there. And it was interesting for the fact of the road was pretty impressive. How they get the power out of the wind farm was equally impressive through underground lines. And I don't know if it serves to debunk a couple of facts or whatever, but with regard to the sound, I'm certain that the sound of the wind generators can actually be pretty obnoxious at times. When we were up there, the wind was probably like 8 to 10 miles an hour, and we were just, you know, having a regular conversation at the base of the wind generator, and you know, it was like not real. You couldn't even hear it.
Yeah. And I happened to have been up there the day before Bill was there with a pretty stiff wind, and it was a bit louder, but it was, I think it just depends on where you are and the level of noise you get. But I think what was really impressive was that station that they have where they monitor what's going on with the wind turbines, and they have communication with their headquarters out of Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
And they can see what's happening in every one of those turbines, you know, 24/7.
And Portland is controlling a lot of the wind farms.
But if something goes wrong, they've got technicians who can scramble and take care of it locally.
Yeah. So that was pretty impressive.
And I can say, whether we like them or not, they're definitely here to stay. The road that was built up there, you know, will never restore the mountaintop, but it's you know, somebody once said it beats a coal plant, so I have to agree with that.
Are they planning to put 12 more
At that site?
turbines up there?
I don't believe so.
He
There
didn't
was
discuss that.
no.
They got approved for the ones that they've got 25 and,
There's another wind farm that they're trying to gather support for,
right.
but might be a hard row to hoe.
All right. All right, now, is there any public comment? All right, there being none, we have no non-public to discuss after this meeting, so I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Bill, seconded by Mike. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This meeting is adjourned.